So we are going to be doing some simple recipes. We're trying to keep it around the 45-minute time to make. We're also going to try to keep it to 5, give or take, ingredients. And what we're doing today is out of the Marcella Hazan Essentials of Italian Cooking cookbook, which is my go-to. This is a red and yellow bell pepper with sausages sauce. And we're going to be cooking that with some rigatoni. You can use any kind of pasta you want to use. But here are the main ingredients. You're going to use 3 peppers. You're going to use 2 yellow bell peppers. And you're going to use 1 red bell pepper. And then we're going to use 1 white onion. We're not going to use all of it, just a small portion of it. And then we are going to use, this is a mild Italian sausage. It's about 2.5 links. It's about a pound's worth. And we're going to dice that up into little pieces. I wouldn't stay away from the prepackaged, pre-cooked stuff. Just go to your butcher and get mild Italian sausage. I don't think the spicy stuff works as well. And then aside from that, we're going to use a can of whole peeled tomatoes. It's a larger can, 28 ounces. And you can use, I would suggest, whole peeled tomatoes. Don't use the pureed tomatoes or the stewed tomatoes. You could use diced tomatoes, but I would keep it a whole peeled tomatoes. I'm using San Marzano tomatoes, and those are a bit nicer. I think they're a lot tastier, and they're from Italy. You can usually find these in most supermarkets, but if you can't, just go with whole peeled tomatoes. And olive oil. If you can get some good stuff, do it. If you want to just use canola oil, you can use that too, or any kind of oil, but I opt for olive oil. Okay, we're going to start by cutting the peppers. And I usually just cut it into like 4 pieces, going straight down to the bottom, starting right around here. So I usually start to cut right along here, 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 and just go straight down. So you get these, and I like to take out the little white parts. Try to keep as much of this as just straight up pepper. And, you know, if it comes with if you get any of those seeds, get rid of those. Then I'm going to basically cut these into squares. Little tiny squares. White onion. Here's how I chop onions. You've got your root end and then your top end. Always cut off the top end and leave the root end. Because from there, put it down, then you cut down through the root end. That keeps the onion intact, and then you're going to take off the layers of skin. And then how I like to do, I like to cut horizontally through, watch your fingers, cut through a couple underneath. Having a sharp knife helps, so have a sharp knife. Usually do like 3. Then you're going to cut slicing down. Like this, and then you dice. Watch your fingers. Now for this recipe, you're seeing me cut a lot more onion than I need. You only need 2 tablespoons of onion, which is about that much tops. That's probably a little bit more, but that's about how much I use. Okay, then we've got our sausage, and we're just gonna cut this into chunks, into dice. Again, a nice sharp knife helps. And I usually do these little zigzaggy to get these chunks, just like little meatball size. You don't have to be exact. And it doesn't have to be round. It can be in a weird shape. Okay, we're ready to cook now. We're gonna put this on medium high. We're gonna get a pretty healthy amount of olive oil in there, about 4 tablespoons. And we're gonna just put the onion in right away. It'll take a little while for that to warm up. Once it starts to sizzle and it gets transparent, then you're going to put your sausage in there. Okay, that is starting to cook. It's going to be a few minutes until it gets kind of a yellow gold. Okay, that's been going for a few minutes. And we're now going to start putting our sausage in carefully, making sure each one has got some real estate on the bottom of the chunk. Now you do want to use a heavy pan. I'm using a Dutch oven here. And these guys can just retain heat. And I just think that there's much more superior to me cooking than just your average pan. So we're going to brown the sausage, and we're going to let that brown for a couple of minutes. Okay, sausages are looking pretty good. I'm going to put your peppers in that. Stir this all together. We didn't mention at the beginning salt and pepper, but we're definitely going to use that there. At this point, salt out. I'm not measuring, but let's just say pepper. Just give it a good. Okay. Right around here, I like to get a big pot of boiling water going. You want that salted. Get that on high. You don't want to stir too much because you want to allow those peppers to get browned, but you're starting to smell the peppers, which is a pretty damn good smell. All in all, you're probably going to let them go for about 8-ish minutes. We'll check it out. So, a little bit of some brown on some of the edges. That's where you want to see it getting. Right around here is when you can add your sand mark on it, or your whole cake. Add those in now. Just stir this, and as it cooks, those tomatoes will start to break down. Not necessarily need to so as you're cooking this, put that stirred in. And then you're going to let this go for about 15 to 20 minutes. So while we're waiting for the water to boil, and then we're going to add our pasta, you can just let this go. You're going to actually bring it to, it's going to start to simmer. And then you don't want to boil this. You're going to lower the heat so it's at a pretty good simmer. So I usually put like medium low or just low, depending on how hot your stove gets. And then you want to see that kind of like slow boil going, slow simmer going, I should say. To reduce a bit more and it gets really thick, you can always add a little bit of water. You'll just want to check the seasoning, and you may want to add a bit more salt and pepper. More pepper. Got the water boiling here. Now you can choose whatever pasta you want. I'm going to use a penny pasta. You could. This recipe calls for pappardelle, which is like a thicker, like a wide noodle. But it's just easier to eat with penny pasta. Okay, in about a minute this is going to be done, so you want to make sure you've got a colander to drain your pasta ready to go. I've got this in my sink. I've got a little bit of butter. I like to throw a little bit of butter on pasta at the end. Now, something that I didn't mention before that I'll just say as a very confusing thing. I don't know why anybody, while the water is boiling, would put olive oil into it. That is not what that makes sure that the pasta sauce won't stick to the pasta, because it's all going to be slippery. So whatever you do not put olive oil in the water. I'm sure none of you would do that. But yeah, I just like to put a little bit of butter, which does not do that. You can skip that part if you're not feeling cute like me. And then as we're about to put some sauce on here, another good thing to have handy, some red pepper flakes. And then I've always got, no matter what, Parmesan in the refrigerator, because I'm always using it. Alright, got a bowl of my penny. Put that sauce on there. Now this was going probably longer than 15 to 20 minutes. You want to see kind of like a little bit of oil separate from this together, kind of just as you're tasting. Probably don't need to let it go as long as I did. I like to put a little bit of pepper on, a little bit of Parmesan. Voila! All right. I hope that's as easy for you as it was for me. It wasn't the first few times, and there's gonna be more coming, so stay tuned.